All right, everybody. We've got a quorum. We do have a couple members that are out on at a committee, so we'll let them join us when they get an opportunity. I want to start. We got a new member today, and I would like to welcome Representative Rachel Rourks to the committee. Hopefully, we won't scare her off. She'll enjoy herself. So, but with that, we've got a quorum. So, clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith, Senator Richardson, Senator Thomas, Representative Ballman, Representative McCool,
Here.
Representative Rourks,
Here.
Representative Petrie,
Here.
Senator Douglas, Chairman Hart.
Here. All right. Well, we can do the first one. First item on the agenda is consideration of the minutes of the February 11th meeting of the committee. Is there a motion that may be considered as being approved?
Motion.
I have a motion by Senator Douglas. Do I have a second? Second by Representative Ballman. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith, Senator Richardson, Senator Thomas, Representative Ballman, Representative McCool,
Yes.
Representative Rourks,
Yes.
Senator Douglas,
Aye. Chairman
Hart.
Yes, motion carries. Total number of items on the agenda today are 292 in the amount of 172. $172,236,153.64. Routine PSC Green number 61 with Western Kentucky University is not registered with the Secretary of State's office. All other vendors are registered. Do we have a motion to defer routine PSC Green number 61 to the April 2025 meeting of the committee?
Motion.
I have a motion by Senator Douglas. Do I have a second? Second by Representative Rourks. Is it all in favor vote aye? All those opposed vote no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith, Senator Richardson, Senator Thomas, Representative Bowman, Representative McCool,
Yes.
Representative Rourks,
Yes.
Senator Douglas,
Aye.
Chairman Hart.
Yes, motion carries. Did Meredith want to talk about the deferred one? Because we could do item 10 first. Do it. All right, we're going to see. Where am I? Here we go. The first item on the pool list are with the Department of Highways, and our numbers 10 on the routine PSC green list and number 3 on the PSC amendment Ivory list. If representatives are here, please identify yourself. Come forward and identify yourself for the record. Are they virtual? Yes. And I think they're virtual. Do we have them? Ms. Eric Pelfrey and Benjamin Kidd. I'm sorry. Are you on? I love technology. They're not on. All right, they're not on, so let's skip down to. You want to just go ahead and. I was going to do number 3. 33. All right. I think it's on the next page. The next item on the pool list is with the Kentucky Housing Corporation. Is item number 33 on the routine PSC green list. If the representatives are here, please come forward and identify yourself for the record.
Lauren Vansickle, Deputy General Counsel, Kentucky Housing Corporation.
Tracy Thurston, Chief Financial Officer, Kentucky Housing Corporation.
All right, thank you, ladies, for being here. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much, and I believe Senator Douglas has some questions for you.
I do, and thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I really kind of have a couple of questions now. This is for legal representation. Is that my?
That's correct.
Okay, help me out. What is the specialized expertise? Because I hear that a lot. So what is being offered that other groups can't do?
Sure. So we have our own internal legal department. However, we outsource to these attorneys to assist us with foreclosures and bankruptcies through our loan servicing department of any mortgage loans that we have.
May I ask one more, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
So your internal legal department doesn't handle any foreclosures or bankruptcies.
No.
How often? I'm sorry.
Go right ahead.
Just one last question.
Sure.
How often, in terms of a percentage of the cases that you handle, are these two categories here, the foreclosures and the bankruptcies?
So out of the entire loan servicing portfolio that we have of over 28,000 loans, it's less than 1% that we refer out for foreclosures.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions? If not, do I have a motion for approval?
Second.
Motion by Representative Ballman, second by Senator Douglas. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed vote no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith. Senator Richardson. Senator Thomas. Representative Bauman. Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Rorks.
Yes.
Senator Douglas.
Aye.
Chairman Hart.
Yes, motion carries. The next item on the agenda is number 37 on the routine PSC green list, and it's also with the Kentucky Housing Corporation. And you, so,
We were not aware another one. That's fine.
okay. You're having already been sworn in. I think Representative Meredith has some questions. Didn't I say Meredith? Oh. I was trying to promote you.
Pardon me, Mr. Chair, for my absence.
You're fine.
My question is pretty simple. It's a rather large contract, $750,000, and I'm assuming that you're not going to spend all $750,000. Is that?
No, we typically do not. We always like to have it at a larger amount. So in case we do have an influx or something of the need, so that we have that already approved.
So theoretically, it could be $200,000, $300,000. Just depends on the volume of cases that are referred.
Correct.
That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
All right. Are there any other questions? All right, go ahead, Representative Baldwin.
I'm curious the gap in expertise within your in-house legal counsel. What would those be? The gaps that you would need special expertise?
Primarily the ability to show up to court for representation all across the state to represent Kentucky Housing Corporation would be very difficult for us. We are based out of Frankfort, and so we do have our attorneys that are able to assist us all over the state, particularly one out of the Louisville area, and they do travel throughout the state, as well as one primarily based out of Western Kentucky that can help us. Since Kentucky Housing Corporation has mortgage loans all across the state, it's difficult for us to be able to cover that.
So it's not a gap in expertise. It's just a gap in geography, I guess.
We also do not have the internal expertise of foreclosures. We do have some attorneys who have worked on that previously, but not for Kentucky Housing Corporation itself.
Thank you.
All right, I believe Senator Douglas has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Given that this is about 1%, that is the foreclosures and the bankruptcies are about 1% of your your legal load, as I would put it. I'm not a legal person, thank goodness. Just a doctor. When you look at the financial cost, how does that balance out? What percentage of your financial cost is that 1%?
So I can pull the numbers for you from what we have expended in years prior. A lot of the fees, though, that are associated with these are reimbursable to Kentucky Housing Corporation. So the majority of our mortgage loans are through FHA, and up to 75% of the attorney fees are reimbursable to Kentucky Housing Corporation. So while that may appear as a large amount that we're expending, a lot of that is actually reimbursed to Kentucky Housing Corporation as well.
Yeah.
Yes, go right ahead.
My ignorance, reimbursed by whom?
FHA.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions? If not, can I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
A motion by Representative Ballman. Do I have a second? Second by Senator Thomas. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed vote no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith,
Aye.
Senator Richardson, Senator Thomas, Representative Ballman, Representative McCool, Representative Rorks,
Aye.
Senator Douglas,
Aye.
Chairman Hart.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, ladies, so much for being here.
Thank you.
The next item we'll take up will be with the deferred list, which is with the Department for Community-Based Services and was number 1 on the February PSC amended Ivory list. Representatives are here. Please come forward and identify yourself for the record.
Misty Salmons with DCBS.
Astrid Masterson with Cabinet for Health and Family Services.
All right, thank you all so much. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much, and I think Senator Douglas has some questions.
I believe I received this from you guys. Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tell me what it says.
So,
Because what I was asking, I'm sorry. Just to reiterate my previous question, we've got over a 100% increase in the ask, and I'm trying to correlate
sure.
the two.
Do you want me?
I can do it. So the increase was due to this contract when we first started it in state fiscal year 25, when we had to renew it with PCG instead of the vendor that won the award for the RFP. We only did it for like 3 months, and the protest didn't get completed within those 3 months, so we added more funds to just try to get us through the rest of the state fiscal year, not knowing at that time when the protest would be completed and what would happen from there. So we added $480,000 to the contract, hoping that it would be enough until we were able to do whatever happens with the protests. So we have to put the RFP out again, and I'm honestly hoping that that's enough to get us through the state fiscal year or until the RFP ends, because this contract is usually $1 million.
Yes, go right ahead.
I'm trying to follow all of this, but there was an initial vendor, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And there was a protest, so they were relieved of their duties, essentially.
Yes.
Is that what we're
Yes.
talking about? Okay. With that being the case, did the initial vendor receive any funds?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anybody else have any questions? If not, do I have a motion for approval? I have a motion, by Senator Thomas. Do I have a second? Second by Representative Rorks. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed vote no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith, Senator Richardson, Senator Thomas, Representative Ballman, Representative McCool, Representative Rorks.
Yes.
Senator Douglas,
I can explain my vote.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote aye because I think you guys came in with the answers to the questions that I wanted. All of this stuff is really nice, I suppose, but I like the face to face. Just simply, I'm a simple guy and I like asking simple questions. So if you would just give me simple answers.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Chairman Hart.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you.
Next order of business is consideration of the agenda, including the personal service contract list, personal service contract amendment list, memorandum of agreement list, memorandum of agreement amendment list, the Kentucky Entertainment Incentive Program agreement list, the deferred list, and the corrections list, except for those items that were selected for further review. Do I have a motion to consider the contracts reviewed without objection?
Motion.
Motion by Co-Chair Douglas. Is there a second? Second by Representative Ballman. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed vote no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith.
Aye.
Senator Richardson. Senator Thomas. Representative Ballman. Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Rourke.
Aye.
Senator Douglas.
Aye.
Chairman Hart.
Yes, motion carries. First items on the pull list are with the Department of Highways and are numbers 10 on the routine PSC green list and number 3 on the PSC amendment ivory list. If representatives are here, please identify yourself for the record and come forward. They were going to be here virtually. Do we have them yet? No, okay. Well, we'll could I have a motion to defer item 10 on the routine PSC green list and item number 3 on the PSC amendment ivory list?
So moved.
A motion by Co-Chair Douglas. Do I have a second? Second by Senator Thomas. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed vote no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith.
Aye.
Senator Richardson. Senator Thomas. Representative Ballman. Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Rourke.
Yes.
Senator Douglas.
Aye.
Chairman Hart.
Yes, motion carries. Next item on the pull list is with Northern Kentucky University and is number 46 on the routine PSC green list. I do believe these representatives are virtual as well. Do we have them?
Yes, Chris Calvert. I'm Vice President of Finance and Administration and CFO for Northern Kentucky University.
Great. And are you by yourself or somebody with you?
Got a couple of other members.
Okay. Could they please
Tim
identify?
Ferguson with,
Go ahead.
I am Tim Ferguson, Chief Information Officer at NKU.
All right. Anybody else? If not, gentlemen, could I
Hello,
please?
Jenny Sand, Executive Director.
All right.
Jenny Sand, Executive Director of Government Community Relations.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Sant. Could all of you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right. Thank you all so much. And I believe Senator Meredith has some questions.
I do, Mr. Chair. Thank you, and appreciate you all being available to us this evening. I'm a little bit of a mind reader. I'm sure you're thinking there's nothing you'd rather do than on this beautiful evening to get to testify before a legislative committee. So I appreciate you being here. This is a large contract, $9 million. And the only description we have is to provide funds for training, implementation, development, consulting, customization, staff augmentation, and professional services for the ERP replacement for the SAP to Workday. I have no idea what ERP is, nor SAP, so can you educate me a little bit?
Sure, happy to. Our ERP is our enterprise resource planning system. So it's all of our student information systems, our finance and accounting systems, and our human resources systems, including onboarding of human resources and payroll. So we are currently and have for about 20 years, a little bit less than 20 years, have used SAP for all of those important services for our students and for our employees. Our SAP system is nearing end of life, and we either needed to invest in upgrading SAP or migrating to a new system. After a very long and thorough procurement process, the university made the decision, and it was approved by our Board of Regents, to migrate from SAP, which provides those services on a legacy system, to Workday, which provides all those services in a new, more modern system. And then AVAP is the implementation partner. These systems are extremely complicated. And regardless of which system we chose, we were going to need a consulting partner to help us implement the system, learn the new system, help configure those systems, train our personnel, so that we can operate and maintain our operations without any break or any lack of continuity. And AVAP was again, also through a long procurement process, was the implementation partner that we selected to help us do this implementation.
What was the capital investment in the replacement? What did that cost?
Most of the investment is going to be in license fees and then in the implementation consulting fees. So the licensing fees over 10 years, that's a separate contract. That's a contract directly with Workday. And the license fees, Tim, what's I don't have that open in front of me, and I don't want to misquote it, but I can look it up.
Roughly 15 million over 10 years.
Over 10 years, yes. So about $1.5 million per year. That's the Workday portion. That's a separate license contract. And then again, due to the complexity of these systems and the complexity of moving from one system to another one, AVAP will be providing those consulting services to the university.
So you said the license fees are about $1.5 million
per year.
Per year. And how long is your commitment on the contract?
10 years.
10
for
years.
The license fees.
So we're talking about $10 million for license fees, and another $9 million for this consulting, which will include training personnel, making the transition, yada yada yada. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Thank you. Well, just seems like a lot of money. It's not my business, so that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you, Co-Chair Douglas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to tell the committee we had a new electronic health record put in our office, and it didn't cost us $15 million. Could you help me? Why are the consultant fees so high? Because this is high.
Yes. Again, these are very complex systems. So it is a system of record for all of our student information systems, which includes how our students register for courses, how they get their financial aid, how their student records are kept. And then again, it's also all of our finance, accounting, and human resources systems. It is very high. This system is actually much less than we originally anticipated it would cost us. We looked at comparable institutions that implemented systems, and the costs were double in many cases compared to what our university is paying. So we did work very hard to choose a system that will be modern, efficient, but also in the best way that we could conserve funds. If we had stuck with SAP and not been converting to Workday, we'd actually that expense would have been comparable, if not much more. So these are complex systems. Most of our, they're systems that are very common in higher education, but they're very expensive.
So one last question. So we're talking about consulting and hardware costs.
That's not correct. No, sir. This contract is only for consulting fees. We have a separate contract that we signed that is for license fees. That's the license fees that we pay to Workday on an annual basis to use their system. This is the consulting fees to help us implement, to transition from one system to a new system.
And how long would we expect this system to be functional with this $15 million?
Our expectation is that most of the time for enterprise resource systems, your expectation is about 20 years until you would convert to a new system. That's approximately where we are at with SAP. We are near the 20-year mark in terms of when we implemented SAP, and we expect the Workday system to be at least a 20-year system, and we hope that it'll be much longer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Generally speaking, this committee knows I tend to be very supportive of universities because universities, want to attract people that have a great deal of expertise, a great deal of knowledge about the particular fields of interest and study. So I support universities for that reason. But I have to tell you that this is high, and I've been talking about how we've been doing business this session with people that have questionable track records, and so I'm just telling you, unless you can persuade me why we support this, I'm inclined to vote no on this one, and I really do that for universities.
So I would say that we looked at comparable universities. We're actually paying less money than two similar universities, two other regional comprehensive universities that are paid that implemented the Workday system using AVAP as an implementation partner. Those two are Akron and Miami University in Ohio. And again, if we were to simply invest in our current system, which is an antiquated system, it's a system that lacks modern modern features such as being mobile enabled for our students. Again, we would have to invest the same amount, a similar amount, if not more money, simply to maintain our current system. So we're gaining functionality for our students. We're gaining functionality to drive students and help support students that are being educated in Kentucky, and we hope will stay in Kentucky and contribute to the workforce of Kentucky. And when we compared this expense to our other options in order to support, again, finance, accounting, human resources, and student systems across comprehensive universities, and we look nationally, what we're spending is actually on the low end.
Okay. Senator Meredith.
Just follow, Mr. Chair, if I could. Appreciate the explanation you've given. It's been excellent, and I know this is an easy task, but just kind of put it in context. What's the annual budget for Northern Kentucky University?
Our annual budget, our annual budget's about $200 million.
Okay. How many employees do you have?
We have about 1,800 employees.
And how many current students enrolled?
We have about 18,000 current students.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, do I have a motion for approval?
Motion.
I got a motion by Senator Meredith. Do I have a second? I'll second it. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed vote no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith,
I'll explain my vote, Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm voting aye, but I hope you can tell from the conversation we've had here that I think I speak for this collective body that we've got concerns about the cost of post-secondary education, that it's becoming totally unaffordable for the average Kentuckian American, and every month we see millions upon millions of dollars in consulting contracts coming from all our public universities, and it looks at some point in time somebody's going to have to do a deep dive into this and really commit to reducing the cost of post-secondary education. So that's why we scrutinize these things. I think when you look at the total of all this, the budget for the university, the number of employees, the number of students, that you're breaking on a per diem cost, probably not too bad, but still, it's a lot of money. But I'm a yes this time.
Senator Richardson, Senator Thomas,
Boy, this is a tough one for me. Because I do tend to side support of universities for the reason I've already articulated, their need for a special type of expertise and knowledge. I'm going to go along with Senator Meredith. I'm going to vote aye. And and trust my instincts on this one. So I will vote aye.
Representative Bauman?
No.
Representative McCool? No. Representative Rorks?
Aye.
Senator Douglas?
No, but explain my vote, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
You know, I know higher education is costly, but we've got to start getting a handle on how much it is costing us, because we're doing a disservice not only to the citizens who are paying taxes, but also to the students who are going to these colleges and then getting out with an inordinate amount of debt to which they can't pay back. So I have to say no.
Chairman
Thank you, Mr.
Hart?
Chair.
Yes. All right, we have a 4-4 vote. We have tie vote. So, do I have a motion for disapproval? If not, the contract will move forward through the finance cabinet. All right, thank you all so much for being with us.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
The next item on the pool list is with the Office of Inspector General and is number 48 on the routine PSC green list. If the representatives are here, please identify yourself for the record. I see them making their way to the table.
Tricia Stewart, I'm Acting Inspector General.
Yes, thank you. Wesley Duke, General Counsel, Cabinet for Health and Family Services.
All right, thank you all so much for being with us. Could you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
I do.
Thank you so much, and I believe Senator Meredith has a question.
I do. Again, you have to forgive us. We get just thumbnail descriptions of what these contracts are about. And in this one in particular, there's some buzzwords in here. It's provide initial culture change training. What is culture change training?
You take that.
I can do it.
Go right ahead.
What this is referencing is a culture change for the staff in the nursing home, certified nursing home facilities, and which ultimately would lead to greater satisfaction for the residents.
You still lost me. And I started my career in the long-term care industry,
Okay.
and we never had to deal with this kind of issues before. So what do you mean?
The culture change being sought is improvement in nursing staff satisfaction scores and improvement in nurse competency, less staff turnover, and ultimately resulting in resident satisfaction. The concept is if the staff are happy and have good attitudes and they buy into being a part of the culture of the facility, they're a part of analyzing risks, those kinds of things. If they feel that they're a part of the facility, more so than just someone who's going into work 10 to 12 hours, it creates a better work environment, and ultimately that leads to a better resident environment.
Well, I would hope so, and that's very commendable goals. It's a very challenging job to work in a long-term care facility. I think one of the most challenging in the healthcare industry itself. But what specific skills are you going to give them? What are you going to teach them to make job satisfaction better?
I can add
Go
to
ahead.
that. I can add to that. Yes, Senator. Yeah, and I think some of the principles of this effort is to improve accountability amongst staff, to improve communication between management and staff, to make staff feel valued, to feel heard, to have a role in that in the everyday functions of these facilities, and like I said, to create an environment where these folks can feel, like I said, their opinion matters, and that they are, once again, not only caring for some of our most vulnerable citizens every single day, and as you said, it's a very difficult job, but it's also much easier to do when you're working in an environment where you feel like you're playing a larger role than just a cog in the wheel. You're actually, like I said, your opinion is valued, and you've got that back and forth and that accountability.
Explain to me why this is a not practical or feasible to bid. I read the attached letter, but I wasn't sure that I understand why this particular firm gets a free pass on the RFP?
Because this particular contract, the monies come out of the CMPs, the civil money penalties that have been obtained through survey and certification of our nursing facilities. If they are identified to have immediate jeopardy or substandard quality of care, oftentimes that leads to the facilities having to pay CMP funds, and those funds stay in Kentucky. CMS oversees it, but the process is they stay in Kentucky.
Are these civil monetary penalties a result of regular surveys of the facilities?
They can be of our regular certification surveys. They can also be a result of an abbreviated or a complaint survey visit.
Well, the reason I'm asking, and kind of leads to another question, I know a couple of years ago we were dreadfully behind in those surveys. Are we current now?
We are not current, but I am very proud to say that we have made extreme progress, and we've got goals. We've got the staffing as we're hiring new staff, getting them trained. So,
and I think we'd be happy to provide updated numbers on that to you, because I think like the Inspector General said, we've made a lot of progress, and we'd be happy to share that updated data with you.
I think that may be a topic for the interim session. Health Services would be glad to do that. But how much civil monetary penalties have we accumulated?
Well, I think right now the balance of the fund, as I was told today, is $38 million. Is the total we're setting on right now?
And what are the restrictions on those funds? Does CMS determine how those have to be spent?
They do. When the contract is proposed, it comes through our grants coordinator with the state. She looks at the entire program. She usually will put a PowerPoint together to show management, myself and the directors, to show this is the plans that this corporation or this shareholder has. We either approve it or say no. It doesn't appear as if it would meet the criteria that CMS has in place. If it goes through us, then CMS reviews it, and they then notify us if they approve it or deny it.
I'm assuming that the Ben Ray Advisory Group is a CMS endorsed provider.
Not necessarily a CMS endorsed. I think that company started in 2022. It's a small company. It's just that they are the ones who put this contract together and made this proposal to access CMP monies for the benefit of the nursing homes.
So, let me paraphrase this. This wasn't necessarily on anybody's radar. These folks came to you and said, we can do this.
That's correct.
And are there any other firms that can do this?
Well, there's others that would have there's no bidding or competition. Other firms could come forward. This particular one, they've identified 20 facilities that they're implementing this in. Those are voluntary facilities. The company just reached out and said, would you be interested in participating in this CMP grant proposal? So we've got 269 certified nursing facilities in Kentucky. So any company that wanted to apply, but now there's criteria to meet, and it's also our grant coordinator. She oversees these. We have to, like this particular contract, they have to give us quarterly updates. She will review those quarterly updates to make sure, against the contract, to make sure that it's meeting the criteria. And then after we've received the first quarterly update, then she will go on site, and possibly one of our Division of Healthcare surveyors will go with her as well. They go on site and they evaluate the program on site.
By evaluating the program, you mean what?
I'm sorry.
You said they come in to evaluate the program.
We do, yes.
Okay.
And there's written criteria that's required.
Well, if you have that in place, I don't understand why, for transparency's sake, you wouldn't at least go through the process of inviting other firms to submit a proposal.
Well, it's not part of the process. We're not allowed to go out and recruit people for the contracts. However, we do set up workshops at some of the association meetings to give out information about the fact that the CMP money is here. The programs are, you can develop programs that meet CMS criteria, because we have a lot of CMP contracts going on right now with different.
That's what I'm trying to make, not to interrupt you, but again, if there's other firms out there, why isn't it practical to bid? I don't understand that. There's a disconnect here.
It's not the CMS process.
I was going to say this is we can, and once again, we're happy to provide more information about the federal process and federal oversight because once again, all this, even while the CMP money is maintained by the state, the programs that it's used for have to go through the CMS process to be blessed, for lack of a better word. And I think that's what's causing the issue here as far as how this is done. Senator, I was always happy to go get you more information on how that works and what they require of us, and supplement the record with that. Always happy to.
Well, I'm not trying to be argumentative, but I asked a question earlier, is this a CMS and you're kind of suggesting that it is.
It's their program. It's when the CMP monies are assessed, that's through the federal monies. That's not state money at all. So when they pay those penalties, it's paid straight to CMS. And this is all over the nation, all nursing homes. So based on which state the facility is in, the CMP money that CMS has obtained comes back to the state.
And it's my understanding any vendor can prepare a proposal, come to us, want to use this CMP money for it. We will take what they propose, run it to CMS, let them take a look at it, make sure it goes through their approval process. So there's not really a preferred list of vendors, but there are, like I said, it's open to anyone to make that pitch, to make that preparation, and to take that process and get that approval. And this vendor is, I think I'm saying it, Ben Ray. I think I'm saying that correctly. I think
It's Ben Ray.
Yeah, they're the ones that once again took advantage of the opportunity this time, and
they created this particular workshop or work thing, program to be implemented.
To go into the Senate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Representative McCool.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll make sure I followed you correctly. I'm over here. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're talking about improving employee value with this training. So how do you measure that? How do you know if you've achieved that?
It includes measurement satisfactory surveys that have been created by CMS, because this particular contract is based on toolkits created by CMS. They're not required toolkits. They have 5 toolkits that anyone who's proposing to do a contract, they have access to these toolkits, and they can gear their program toward using these toolkits, or they can do something totally out on their own. This particular one used 3 of the 5 toolkits, so there are satisfaction tools for resident satisfaction and separate ones for staff satisfaction. And it's all part of the program. It's set up on, like, after 2 weeks, this happens. After 2 weeks, something else happens. So it's all structured through that toolkit.
It's resident satisfaction. That's what we
Can
get.
I,
Go ahead.
Thank you. So at the end of this, you will evaluate this, see whether or not it's successful or not, and then you could be able to share that with us then.
We could, yes.
Data, this is what we've done, and at the end of this,
Absolutely.
this is what the results are.
We could. And even though the contract's just for 1 year, the end result, that the hope of this is it gets picked up in the facility's QAPI, their QA Performance Improvement Program, so that they spend 1 year implementing it, getting it set up for the facility, and then the facility hopefully would pick it up and go on with it if it's successful. It wouldn't just drop.
All right. Senator Meredith.
Let me try one more time, okay? CMS says you can only use these funds for these specific purposes.
For
But
programs to benefit residents.
okay.
Yes, sir.
And you mentioned the toolkit that they have. This is out there.
It is, yes.
And then that's open up to any vendor to come to you folks and say, we can do this.
Yes.
And how do we know if the contract price is a reasonable price?
CMS evaluates the price.
Okay. I surrender, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, Senator Thomas.
CHFS takes a lot of hits because of the tough work they do in the area of dealing with families and dysfunctional situations. You know, having social workers who are overworked. You know, dealing with child care issues. They take a lot of hits, and so I applaud any entity that seeks to create a winning environment. And winning environment is a culture. If you're ever on a sports team, you know there's a culture there that separates champions from also rans. And so I applaud them taking this move to want to build a championship culture, a winning culture within this environment, and for less than $100,000 to do that, I don't see a problem with it. So I'm going to vote for this because I know what a tough task Secretary Friedlander has over there, and to take this on makes a lot of sense to me.
Representative Petrie.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Two things. One, exactly how much money is in the account, the civil money penalty. I think I heard a number, but I want to make sure I'm kind of close.
I'm sorry, Representative Petrie. I'll be exact. $38,293,066.45.
All right. Thank you very much. And if it's okay with the co-chairs, there was an analysis that was mentioned that the cabinet performs to determine whether or not this is a reasonable price or not on this one little contract. Could we have a copy of that analysis come back to the committee?
We don't have an analysis for looking at the cost. We have an analysis for looking at what they've presented. We do not have the option of saying, no, you can't, this will not get submitted. But using our expertise, we evaluate it, and we may get back with the vendor and say, you may need to take a look at how you're approaching this to make sure it's effective for the resident.
Yeah, if you don't mind, and the co-chairs are okay with it, if we can just see an example of the analysis that the cabinet performs, in order to say that's a good project, so that way we can see the application that's made in, the back and forth between to evaluate, and there's a final decision made.
Yep. Absolutely, yeah, we can provide that. Yep.
That's okay.
Staff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If there's no other questions, do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion by Senator Meredith, second by Senator Thomas. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed vote no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith.
Let's play my vote, Mr. Chair.
Yes, go right ahead.
Appreciate y'all's patience as we go through this. And, I think the national turnover for nursing home facilities, long-term care facilities for nurses is about 53%. I don't know if you have any current statistics on that or not, but I hope you're wildly successful with this program. My concern is with the procurement process. I'm still not convinced of that, but if you can impact that turnover rate, that $99,000 will be a small cost, because turnover is very, very expensive for everyone. So I'm taking a leap of faith here and saying this may be money well spent. Thank you.
Senator Richardson. No. Senator Thomas.
I vote aye, and ditto to Barbara.
Representative Baumann.
No.
Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Rourke.
Aye.
Senator Douglas.
No.
Chairman Hart.
Yes. Votes 5-3, it passes. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Next item on the pool list is with the University of Louisville and is number 60 on the routine PSC green list, and the university has requested that this contract be withdrawn. So therefore, our next item on the pool list is with the Department for Local Government and is number 30 on the routine MOA pink list. If representatives are here, please come forward and identify yourself for the record.
Good afternoon, Chairman. Matthew Stevens, General Counsel, Department for Local Government.
Okay.
Aaron Jones, Branch Manager of the Office of State Grants for the Department for Local Government.
Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Could you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you so much. And I've got some questions. Let me begin by saying, personally, I was kind of excited to see this project finally come before us. And I've got a couple questions, and then I'm going to ask you to maybe give us a brief description of the project as a whole. The contract description mentions a cost share match. Can you tell me what the match is and what the total project cost is projected to be?
Yes, Representative. So in the original House Bill 1 last year, the General Assembly appropriated the $11.25 million. Then in Senate Bill 91, General Assembly came back and amended that language to emphasize, I guess, the dollar for dollar match. The contract's going to be in the amount of $11.25 million, and we'll ensure with the city that they are providing that amount as well.
All right, thank you. The contract is for a 4-month period from February to June of this year, and obviously you'll be going to be getting started. Is this the only contract, or should we expect another contract? Can the project be done in that time period, or?
So the bill provided that this appropriation is for fiscal year 24 and 25. We're entering into the contract prior to the end of the fiscal year, and if we transfer the funds, then they can proceed with the project.
Okay, thank you. And could you tell the committee, just give us a brief description of what the total project is and what you are doing?
Yes. Well, Mr. Chairman, at this point, the city of Frankfort has not completely given us a full description on as far as what the construction is going to be. They are in the early phases of the planning, engineering, doing a feasibility study to try to figure out, to put out an RFP for this. So DLG really doesn't have a time to do a forensic analysis on the project, because we know just about as much as you all know when it's passed in House Bill 1. Now, we do go through an application process, and we request what their basically what their project activity is estimated to be in the dollar amount for each section, as stated in the scope of work. But as of right now, we can't really tell you the timeline of the construction until they get their due diligence completed with the RFP.
Okay. Is there any other questions? If not, do I have a motion to approve? All right, I have a motion by Representative Ballman, second by Senator Richardson. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed vote nay. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith. Aye. Senator Richardson. Aye. Senator Thomas. Aye. Representative Bowman. Aye. Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Rourke.
Aye.
Senator Douglas.
Aye.
Chairman Hart.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for being with us.
Thank you.
The next items on the pool list are with the Department for Education, and our numbers 42 and 43 on the routine MOA pink list. If representatives are here, please come forward and identify yourself for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is Karen Worth. I'm with the Office of Finance and Operations.
I'm Matthew Courtney. I'm the Policy Advisor to the Office of Continuous Improvement and Support.
Could you all please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you so much, and I believe Representative Ballman has some questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have some questions about the KDE's reimbursements to districts on the Century 21 grants. Is that where we're at, Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
Yeah, good. And so I know that the majority of reimbursements are made within 30 days, but with these Century 21 grants, it's taking much longer. It's taking months for these districts to be reimbursed. And this is something that has been happening for years, significant delays with the 21st Century grant reimbursements. And so I really want to understand better what is KDE's policy for the number of days by which the 21st Century Community Learning grants should be reimbursed following the submission of the quarterly reports. And really, why is there it seems to be a unique set of circumstances around delays for these specific grants?
Absolutely, and I can definitely address that.
Thank you.
Yeah, the 21st Century grants are, they're different than our other federal reimbursements because those are done on a federal cash request. The district spends the money, they send in a federal cash request to the department, and we process that usually in 24, 48 hours. But with these, they actually have contracts. I can't offer much more of an explanation except we've had a lot of staff turnover. We had quite a few retirements at the beginning of COVID, and we just were short on manpower, to be honest. And this was one of the areas that we really we got behind. So we have since, we actually meet with Matthew's office monthly. We go through what's outstanding. We talk about our process, and we've really tried to make a good effort internally on our processes to make sure that these districts are getting paid. I know that I've had some that have reached out to me directly, and we will follow through, and I do follow through to make sure that they get the funds that they need. So it's just been a little bit of a hopefully a short-term setback, but we're on the right track.
Yeah, I appreciate that very much, and I can sympathize with the workforce issues. But I think the issue dates long before the workforce shortages that we've experienced all over the country over the last few years. So really, I didn't pick up on the answer about what's really unique about these grants. You mentioned contracts. I'd like to explore that a little bit more and understand really what's the barrier here that's preventing quick reimbursements that we see with all the other grants.
Absolutely. All of our title funds are based on formula, and their allocations are determined for the districts based on the formula set for the title grants. And there's no actual contract with the district. They receive their allocation. They send in the paperwork that says we've spent all of this money of our Title I, for example. We've done these things that are allowable under Title I, and then we do the draw and we send the money to the district. With 21st Century, we do an actual contract, which then, our process can be anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to process a contract to getting it back from the vendor. Then when the reports come in, we work with the program office to make sure that what the district is reporting or the vendor is reporting is applicable and allowable under the dollars. So there is a little bit of a time lapse there where we have various sets of eyes looking at the report to make sure that those expenses are allowable and defensible, and then we process the payment. So,
and that's another significant issue due to the number of these that have to be submitted, because we can't pull them together and make that one submission. It sounds like we have to do one for each expenditure. So if that expenditure is $60, we have to submit that. If that expenditure is $15,000, we have to submit that on its own and go through that process. Is that accurate?
So all our school districts use Munis, and so they run CDIP reports, and they send those to us. And basically what that does is it lists all of the object codes and the dollar amounts that the district uses when they expend. They also have to follow and give us a report based on the deliverables in the scope of work of the contract. So you'll see there's deliverables and milestones here that says I'm going to do this, this, and this. My budget says I'm going to spend money in this category, and the reports they submit have to be compared to the contract to make sure that the deliverables are being met in a timely manner and the budget is being followed.
So, last question, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry, sir, but who is accountable, I guess, for setting the parameters here for these grants specifically? Is it a different entity than the others? Is that why we have different rules associated with these?
No, I mean, they're funds from the U.S. Department of Education. Of
Okay.
course, there are different, there are different criteria based, on what the actual federal grant is. But we administer them as they are instructed to us from ESEA, so from US Ed.
Yeah, I think the key difference when we think about title funds, as Karen said, those are formula grants. And so there is a different set of rules for formula grants than for discretionary funds, which are these competitive grants. So not every district has 21st century, so they have to apply. That's evaluated by a external team through our RFP process. So it's a whole different, you can't compare processes for title programs to processes for 21st century. Even at US Ed, it's different offices, it's different points of contact, it's different sets of regulations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can I ask one more
Yes,
question?
go ahead.
What is there anything we can do to relieve our districts, our administrators of this punishing paperwork? Because it's burdensome and it's an extraordinary waste. Is there anything we can do at the state level to support efficiencies here?
Not that I'm aware of. I know that we've worked internally to try to streamline the process for districts, but we have to collect and report the information to US Ed that is required to receive the dollars. But we have really worked. This has been we've had audit findings for this. I mean, it's been a sore spot for my division, and it's been something that we've really worked hard the last little bit to try to remedy. So
thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? If not, do I have a motion for approval? I have a motion by Senator Richardson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Representative Ballman. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed vote no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith. Senator Richardson. Senator Thomas. Representative Ballman.
Yes.
Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Rourke.
Aye.
Senator Douglas.
Aye.
Chairman Hart.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you.
The final items on the pool list are with behavioral health, developmental, and intellectual disabilities are numbers 3, 4, and 6 on the MOA Amendment Yellow List. If representatives are here, please come forward and identify yourself for the record.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Marr. I'm Assistant Director, Department for Behavioral Health, Developmental, and Intellectual Disabilities.
Good evening. I'm Matt Mooring. I'm the Facility Director at Central State Hospital.
And hello again, Wesley Duke, General Counsel at the Cabinet.
All right. Thank you all so much for being here. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
I do.
Thank you all so much. I have a question on number 3. And then I think Co-Chair Douglas has some questions on 4 and 6. So, my question on number 3, when I was looking at this, I don't really see a justification for the requested increase. It looks like we're simply continuing the services that the contract provides. So, can you just maybe explain why the increase is needed and just kind of justify it a little bit for me?
Yeah, so the $6.2 million is for 2 years. It's for the end of this fiscal year through next fiscal year, and it's due to the increase in wages and just to be competitive in the job market and to retain our current staff.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all I had. Does anybody else have on? Go ahead, Senator Meredith.
Just coincidentally, I'm looking at number 2, outside medical services. We're hearing a bill tomorrow in health services, House Bill 392. This is tied to this, correct? You're grinning. You got it. What do you?
Yeah, this contract is for staffing.
Just staff.
Yeah, and
Okay.
the other one is for medical services for our patients and residents for paying for those services.
Okay, so is that kind of backward then, that 3 is for outside services?
It's for outside, so for our residents that are within the hospital, or our patients within the hospital, if they have to go outside to the community
Yeah,
to
that's-
get services, if they have to go see a gastroenterologist or some type of services that's not available within the hospital or the nursing facility, they may have to take them out for a community service, and that bill is to be able to pay for those services.
And that's the bill that we're hearing tomorrow on health services. It's already passed the House overwhelmingly, but I would assume that that responsibility was always there. Why do we need this language?
Because we don't have the authority to pay for those services.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think those are those circumstances, Cinder, where we have people who need services. Once again, they're kind of one-offs. Is kind of how I look at them. And these providers don't want to do contracts with the state. They don't want to have a PSC, but they're willing to provide the service on a one-time or I guess not just one, but it's to make sure they get paid and have and that gives us the authority to pay them because they just don't want to go through the procurement process. So
who does?
I was going to let you say that.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Co-Chair Douglas has a question as well. 3.
And you may not have this number, but could you give me an idea how many people, how big is the staff that we're talking about with this increase? I mean, not just with the increase, but the overall funding. Could you give me an idea of how many people are on staff?
Yeah.
May or may not have that
So
number.
we currently have 243 staff through this contract.
That's the
Go ahead, yeah.
no,
All right. Is there any other questions on number 3? I have a motion for motion by Senator Meredith on contract number 3, and I have a second by Representative Ballman. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed vote no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith. Senator Richardson. Senator Thomas. Representative Ballman. Representative McCool. Representative Rourks.
Aye.
Senator Douglas.
Aye.
Chairman Hart.
Yes, motion carries. Now we're going to look at items number 4 and 6. And I believe Senator Douglas has questions, or Co-Chair Douglas has questions on them.
Easy questions, easy answers, I'm sure.
Could you please identify yourself for the record?
Yes, I'm Dr. Caitlin Hood. I am the Assistant Director in the Division of Substance Use Disorder within the Department for Behavioral Health.
All right, thank you so much, and please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Co-Chair Douglas.
Thank you, sir. Same question for each. More than 100% increase in the ask. Help me with that.
Yes, I would be happy to. So it looks like an increase, and I'm going to explain why it looks like an increase, but it is actually just continuing funding from FY25 to FY26. And so for our River Valley contract, this is a CMHC. Both of these contracts are funded through the Kentucky Overdose Response Effort, so these are federally funded contracts. For the River Valley contract, we have 2 initiatives. We have the Regional Prevention Center and the Recovery Community Center. The reason why this one looks like over 100% increase is because when we initially gave them funding for FY25, it was $50,000 short. And so for FY26, we allotted these programs the same amount that they were supposed to get in FY25 plus a $50,000 because there was a discrepancy in the funding that we were supposed to give them for FY25. So we just accommodated for that in the new contract. or in the modification. The same is true for Four Rivers for, let's see, their Recovery Community Center. There was a $22,000 discrepancy that we owed them for FY25 and had to accommodate for in FY26. The other piece for the Four Rivers contract is we initially funded the quick response team for 8 months. So they were funded through the end of February. We did this because we knew we were going to conduct a notice of funding opportunity to enroll a new cohort of quick response teams to participate in the grant. And so that process was done in the fall. We selected a new cohort. Four Rivers, their QRT was selected again to continue participating. And so the reason why this contract looks like it's a big increase is because we actually gave them 16 months of funding. So we had to continue their contract from March to the end of June, and then we gave them another 12 months to continue them through FY26.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So can we assume we won't see that big of an ask in the future because you're saying you're just making up some discrepancies?
Exactly.
Okay. Has there been much conversation about what might happen if something goes on at the federal level? Because we're all going to be dealing with some of the federal information, and I just kind of want to know if people are thinking about it ahead of time.
Absolutely, absolutely. We continue to discuss sustainability with our programs. This was actually part of the NOFO process. The QRT specifically had to write in a proposal related to sustainability. How will they continue this funding if federal funds are not available? If funding were to shift, we're going to continue to operate these programs to the extent that we are able with the resources that we have.
You're not going to ask us?
No. We'll
Okay.
try not to.
Just thought I'd ask. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Is there any other questions? If not, do I have a motion for approval? I have a motion by Representative Ballman, a second by Senator Richardson. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed vote nay. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith. Senator Richardson. Senator Thomas. Representative Ballman. Representative McCool. Representative Rourke.
Yes.
Senator Douglas.
Aye.
Chairman Hart.
Yes, thank you all so much for being with us. Please take a moment to review item number 12 on your agenda. Is there a motion to approve the same?
Mr. Chairman, I have a question before we
Okay.
adjourn. Or I'm sorry,
We need to approve item number 12 on the agenda.
I apologize, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion by Senator Thomas to have a second. Second by Representative Rourke. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed vote no. Clerk, please call the roll. Oh.
Senator Meredith. Senator Richardson. Senator Thomas. Representative Ballman. Representative McCool. Representative Rourke.
Aye.
Senator Douglas.
Aye.
Chairman Hart.
Yes, motion carries. Now, you may ask your question.
Yeah, thank you. I was just going back to the line item for Northern Kentucky, and I had a question about the registered foreign corporation and really being new to the committee. What does that mean? Registered foreign corporation. It says that they're out of Columbus, Ohio, but are they part of a parent company overseas? What does that mean when I see that noted there?
Basically, the registered foreign corporation just means they're an out-of-state. They're headquartered out of state. In this case, it would be Columbus, Ohio.
Thanks, sir.
They're foreign to the state of Kentucky. That helps.
It does. Thank you.
Okay. If not, do I have a motion for adjournment?
Excuse me, Co-Chair Hart.
Yes.
I apologize. I'm joining you virtual. I'm Eric Pelfrey from the Transportation Cabinet. I apologize. We didn't receive notification that you all were meeting until I think after you called our contracts, but I have our project managers from the western part of the state also available.
Unfortunately, when you wasn't online, we went ahead and the contracts have been deferred, so we will have to take them up next month, and we will make sure that you're notified. I mean, according to my records, you were notified, but I'll make sure that you receive the notification in a timely manner. But it's the vote's already been taken, and the contracts have already been deferred until next month. Do I have a motion for adjournment? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.